2015 is a Jubilee year. Yobelu Amet. It's a Shemitah year, year of release for the once lost but now found black sheep of the house of Israel, the Beta Israel in the Americas and the Caribbean globally. But the emphasis of prophecy is this North Country, the wilderness of this North Country that we call America, right? Or the West, right? So here we meet the Kohanim, or the Kahins, the priests, and the Levites. Now, Yaakov, Father Jacob, the blackest Jew the world ever knew, of course, he had 12 sons. Now, these 12 sons, they became the founders and the patriarchs of the 12 tribes, the Shevatim, the Negadoch, right, of Israel, Ze Israel. Now, his son, Lewi, known as Levi, had 3 sons, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari, according to Genesis 46, verse 11, and Exodus chapter 6, verses 16 to 26. These 3, they became the heads, the Alikoch of the clans, the Mispaka of the Lewawian, of the Levites. However, Ha-Elohim Baruchu Hailai, he exclusively chose Lewi, or Levi's great-grandson Aaron, and his descendants, his seed from among all of the Lewawian, among all of the Levites, to be his priests, to be Kahinatu, to be his priests, according to Numbers chapter 17, verses 1 to 10. In other words, there are 3 classes, or we can say there are 3 types within the structure of the Hebrew society. In the structure of the Ethiopian Hebrew society, there are 3 classes, or there are 3 types. What are these 3 classes? What are these 3 types within the structure of the Judah-ish, the line of the tribe of Judah society? 1, it's the Kohen, or the Kahin, the priest. Then we have the Levi, or the Lewi, speaking of the Lewawian, the Levites. And then we have the Israelites, right? The Israelite, that song by Patriachs. Actually, we have a reading from his namesake, Petros, or Peter, in this Torah portion, reading and feeding. So stay tuned, my brothers and sisters. Now, only the Kohanim, speaking of the priests, are physical descendants of Aaron, and they're assigned the priestly duties of offering, the korbanot, the korban, the korbanot, the korbanot are what is makreb, what is presented, what is offered, and this is known in the Old Testament as the sacrifices. So it's the descendants, the physical descendants of Aaron, who are known as the Kohanim, and springing from his 3 sons, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari, as we mentioned earlier. Now, the other descendants of Lewi, of Levi, they were assigned roles and responsibility to assist in the maintenance of the Mishkan, in the maintenance of the tabernacle, in the maintenance of the Debtarah, the Dinquan, the tent. Now, which were these roles? Some of the roles were, for example, carrying the various vessels, assembling these vessels when Yahweh, the sustainer, moved the camp, because the camp was mobile, right? The camp was mobile, and so on. And the details, we'll touch on the details, and the details are there. This is just to give you a kind of understanding of the order, right? The divine order of that order and our order after the order of Melchizedek, right? Because the groundation, right, is according to the pattern of Lewi. And we find that within the epistle to the Hebrews in the New Testament, the Berit Hadasha in the Hadis Kidan. Amen. Now, only the Kohanim were allowed to perform the priestly service, and the priestly service were known as the avoda, right? The avoda, the priestly service on behalf of Israel. So they perform the priestly service on the behalf of all of Israel, Jah's people. Now the Kohanim then are a subset, or a subgroup of the tribe of Lewi, when we say Moa Anbesa Zaim Negede Yehuda, we are speaking now of the Negede Lewi, or the tribe of Levi. Thus, while every Lewawian, every Levite is an Israelite, every Levite is an Israelite, a descendant of Israel, and thus of Yaakov, of Jacob. Not every Levite, not every descendant of Lewi is a Kohen, This needs to be understood. Not every descendant, or not every Levite who's a descendant of Levi is a Kohen, is a descendant of Aaron. So this is very important for us to understand and to get an understanding that when we are speaking about priests, there are priests, but the priests are descendants of who? The priests are descendants of Aaron. Yet not every Levite, but the priests who are descendants of Aaron, they are Levites, but not every Levite is a Kohanim, is a Kahanat. This is a very important distinguishing mark. And as we get into the new covenant, it has its perfect type, right? But this is the groundation, right? This is the groundation, and this is getting an overview of this particular episode, or this Torah portion, which is number 31, known as Emor, Bele Nigaracho. If we were to look at a chart, I'll bring up a chart. A chart might explain it even a little bit better. But let's ask another question. Why were they chosen? What was the reason, right? What was in the divine mind for choosing them? Because many are called, we hear, right? And few are, chosen, but many are called. We are called to be chosen and faithful. But why were they chosen? In a word, it's loyalty, right? Loyalty to Yod-Heh Weh-Heh, loyalty to Yahweh, loyalty to Yahweh Elohei Israel, loyalty to the sustainer, the power, the father of Israel. This is the reason that they were chosen. You see, a tribe in the Hebrew, when we say the word tribe, the Hebrew word is Shabbat, or some modern Jews say Shavat. A Shavat, right? A Shavat of Lewi was chosen to serve. A tribe of Levi was chosen to minister in the tabernacle, to minister in the Mishkan, in the Debtara, in the Dinquan, on account of their loyalty, to the sustainer Yahweh, to the sustainer Jah, Rastafari during times of national peril.